A research published by the Indian Journal of Psychiatry reveals that in India, by the time most children reach the ninth grade, about 50% have tried at least one of the illicit drugs. However, this is not a time to be alarmed. Our young ones are as dismayed and confused with these substances. They're scared when they appear in their young lives. What we can do is to listen to them from a position of knowledge. So to begin with, let's acknowledge that the taboo around drug use and abuse is losing ground fast. It was once considered the preserve of naughty children, but that distinction is long gone. Vaping and juuling are the new gateway drugs used for coping and self-soothing. These are covert methods for ingesting nicotine and marijuana. Addiction can happen in a matter of weeks, and young people are fascinated with the paraphernalia around all of this. Teens themselves are rather casual about dealing drugs. They will buy and sell for a select group of friends, and girls are now nearly as likely as boys to use regularly. More and more young people take to weed, rolling joints that many parents and teachers cannot tell from regular cigarettes. Children believe it is a plant from the earth, far safer than alcohol because it does not tax a vital organ. The notion is that while weed smokers are recreational, it is the alcohol drinkers that are hardcore. But weed today is a deceptively dangerous substance. For one, it is the most demotivating drug out there, associated with the erasure of memories and loss of life's essential spark. If the child is all of a sudden lazy, elusive, the grades drop, he loses interest in the activities he once loved. If he changes friends and starts to have trouble at school, parents and teachers ought to trust their instinct and ask the question. And the tipping point happens when smoking weed turns from being recreational to being medicinal. Young people begin to smoke just to get high or stoned. No, not just that. Also to soothe anxiety, depression, numb their feelings about falling grades, family or social issues. Now, weed is a different drug altogether today. It is more potent, more addictive. It is also unregulated because it is still largely illegal. It may come laced with other drugs like heroin or meth or LSD. Weed is also, we ought to know, notoriously easy to acquire today. It just takes a phone call. If your child is abusing drugs of any kind, the thing to do would be to first listen fully and completely without agenda and fear or judgment. Instead of focusing on the behavior that seems unacceptable to us, focus on the why. Kids are known to keep their consumption moderate when they can talk to their parents about it. A don't ask, don't tell policy is foolhardy today. It's like a cat and mouse game. Search and destroy theory also does not work. In fact, it might be the time to reach out to a therapist or an addictions specialist for help. Weed is nearing legalization in more and more countries, and that is going to increase usage and bolster the thinking that there is no downside. This is not true. And future red flags could look like a semester lost, friendships strained, family relationships in turmoil. It is a humanitarian crisis, no matter what invested interests say. It might help to constantly remind ourselves, that's one thing we can do, remind ourselves that the opposite of addiction is connection.